This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
Welcome back. We are ecstatic to have Lynn Winters here joining us as always. She joins us to talk more about the work she does with Kyuka Energy Arts and how she really, with past life regression and Reiki, hypnosis, can help you overcome so many things. And, today we're going to dive into space, self, client, and so much more. But for those out there wondering what she's all about, and of course her company, it's spelled KEUKAENERGYARTS. We're here today joined by Lynn Winters herself. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
And do I pronounce it correctly? Kyuka?
It's Kyuka, like the letter
Kyuka.
Q and then a
Kyuka.
Ka.
I'm sorry. I'm
Kyuka.
like Kyuka. But I had to spell it in case you're Googling. Perfect. It's
That's
with a
good.
K. Thank you. Thank you. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing, and we're going to dive in today a little bit further.
Well, I'm, of course, always doing Reiki and hypnosis and past life regression hypnosis and one-on-one counselings. But I thought today would be good for people that might not have had Reiki before and are a little bit apprehensive to tell them how it's prepared and the room is prepared and how I prepare and how things are prepared for them so that they could feel a little bit more comfortable about it.
And you also have your own self-hypnosis program. Could you just share a little bit about that?
Yep, I
Start with
have
that a little. Yeah.
7 self-hypnosis recordings that are really effective that you can use in your own home around your own schedule. And they're called Winter's Self-Hypnosis Series. You can find them on my website, Kyuka, that's KEUKA, energyarts.com. And you can hear a little snippet of it and see if that appeals to you.
Perfect. Thank you. And for today, what did you want to dive into to start with for everyone?
Well, I just wanted to talk a little bit about how things are prepared for the actual session so that people can feel a little bit more comfortable. And so before anyone ever even gets to my space, I prepare the room itself. I have a massage table, and most clients are on the massage table, lying on their back, fully clothed. It's not like a massage. And I always have a 2-inch memory foam on top of that. So it's really, really comfortable. There's fresh sheets for each client on top of that. You lay on your back, and there's going to be a pillow underneath your knees and one underneath your head. I smudge the room before you get here, and later at another time, I want to explain to you about smudging. Smudging is a Native American culture practice that moves out the negative energy by lighting sage, and the smoke moves it out. And so I can talk about that later at another time. But I smudge the room first.
Okay.
And then I smudge myself, and I smudge the table so that there's no residue on the table from a past client. Plus, there's the clean sheets. And then I prepare myself. I ground myself, and I get prepared by putting on the music so that the energy is already here. By the time the client gets here, then I usually have what I call a check-in, and I'm sitting at my desk. They're on the other side of the desk, and I just want to know where they are, what they're thinking, what they're feeling, what they'd like to address. Sometimes they talk a lot about personal things. Sometimes they just talk about physical conditions, and sometimes they just want maintenance, so anything goes. And I let them lead how long that is. And so sometimes it's been the whole entire time, and sometimes it's just a few minutes. So there's a check-in to find out where they are. It gives them a chance also to ground themselves and to feel present and to be heard, which is what everybody needs, is to be heard. Then after that, I get them on the table, and they relax. And then I smudge them also and get all of the energy that's from the past or that they brought in with them out off the table. They close their eyes, and I play music. I have a variety of music depending on what crosses my mind that feels right for them. Sometimes they ask for music, but generally they kind of like to know what I'm reading. So I play music for them. And sometimes people want a blanket because when the energies get higher in the vibrational frequencies of them, you'll often get cold. And so some people have a blanket and some people don't. I have a super, super soft blanket that I call a blankie, and they really love that. So they're all set to go. They close their eyes. I play the music, and I start by getting myself prepared. I sit down and I first take the energy, negative energy out of my body. And I want to tell you how to do that because you can do that at any time if you feel like you're in a place that you don't really want. If you rub your hands together like this with your eyes closed and you imagine yourself gathering all the negative energy from your body and then flicking it out into the universe again, you do that 3 times
Yep.
and you'll feel much, much better, like you've been shifted. And then I pray for the energies to come into me so that I can pass them on. Then, after my whole ritual for Reiki is done, because there's a series of several things to that, um, I then energize them and get them accustomed to and connected to energy. Most of these things from this point on are Reiki trainings, and actually, you're not supposed to tell them to anyone unless you're actually training them because there's a responsibility that comes with them. Then, at the very, very end of it, afterwards, I always smudge them again, and I put my hand on their shoulder because they really are very relaxed, and it's like they've been on a spaceship and they've come back. So I go give them a little bit of time to relax, and I set my hand on their shoulder, and I just tell them to take time. And it's really important that the client gives themselves time to let all those energies assimilate and not just pop up off the table, but to let themselves lay there. I give them at least 5 minutes to just lay there, or maybe more, however long they need. Some clients need to lay there for like 5 minutes and then sit up on the edge of the table for a second before they stand up because they're so relaxed that they need to kind of come back into this dimension. I'm going to say that. And then oftentimes, I'll have them sit back down at the desk because they'll have questions for me. Sometimes they want to share the experiences they have. And oftentimes I'll have heard information that I can pass on to them, and then we can go over that. And sometimes I write it down for them, or sometimes they'll ask me to write it down for them. And then after that, they leave. And that's it.
Wow. And that's it. And then how do they
Yeah.
feel afterwards?
They feel really great. They
Yeah.
feel relaxed. And I think that I'm going to say the most common denominator is that they feel empowered
Okay.
because they gave it to themselves, because the focus was only on them. For an hour, they were just receiving. That was their only requirement of themselves. No one else was involved. And it really is empowering to them. And what they do with it is whatever they do with it. I always tell them to hold it, that feeling, if you can, for as long as possible before you, like, go shopping or whatever you're going to do. Yeah, it's
Got it.
great.
Oh my goodness. Well, also, when we're talking here about the process of what else is this helping with, could you just kind of dive into that a little bit further? What other things in particular?
I think it helps with everything.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes, I'm going to say 90% of the time, people come in with conditions, physically or emotional or even mental, um, and they talk about what they think is the problem, but it usually turns out to be a symptom of the problem, and usually the problem is revealed, and so that actually gives them a lot of relief because they have concluded it to be something that it may not be, and it's just the symptom, and they keep banging their head against the wall and it's not really working. But once you get a little bit more information on what's underneath that and could be causing it, then you just feel a sense of relief. And another thing is that I find very interesting, and what makes it very valuable, I think, is a lot of times people feel guilty about having a condition, or that they caused something, or guilty about something that they can't let go of, or um, sometimes very often, people feel guilty about giving themselves the privilege of having Reiki or giving themselves anything. So it it has an effect of relieving guilt and shame without that being the common cause of it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, your work that you've been doing, and, as your work here, working as a Reiki master and with hypnosis. I mean, you got like a double power-edged sword of how to help people here with this technique.
Yes.
And how do you, if someone's reaching out to you for the first time with something, how do you determine what they need? Because I mean, hypnosis and Reiki can help somebody in a sense, right? With themselves. How do you know which one works best for someone?
That's a great question. That's what the check-in is really about. I'm really reading their energy and listening to their words and then just kind of sensing things. And often I will have an idea or some ideas of what might help them. But I always want to consider what I sense they're ready for, because sometimes I may have a sense that this would be something that Reiki could help, but hypnosis would even be deeper, and maybe they're not ready for that yet, or they have some fear about it and they need to feel a little bit more confident. So what I disclose to them has a lot to do with what I feel that they can handle. I'd rather have them take in what is the next layer for them to embrace and to participate in than for me to give the whole enchilada of what I think, because I've been working in this for such a long time, and have that make them feel more afraid. I'd rather follow the pace of them than just do what I might think or know. Yeah.
Got it. All right. And, during your time here doing the work you're doing, have you ever found, let me just ask, that this doesn't work for someone? I mean, I feel like I always hear the hypnosis and works, it's guaranteed, right? And, but like, is there a guarantee? Does it really work? Do people say they're having trouble with it? Do you need a few more sessions to make it happen? But have you ever had worked with someone that they didn't feel the benefit of it? Not
I've
to be a
worked with,
Debbie Downer, but
no, I get it. I've worked with all of those situations.
yeah.
And so, first of all, let me say that energy work, whether it's hypnosis or whether it's Reiki or what past life regression, it's all about energy. It always works because everything and everything all the time is about energy, whether we have a consciousness of it working or not. So there's a difference between the energy working and you not knowing that it's working, and you having a consciousness that it's working. And that has a lot to do with the person and if they're ready to embrace what might be responsibility for something. Not responsibility in a bad way, but responsibility that you can give yourself happiness and that's what it usually is. Another thing is sometimes I've had people really, really want hypnosis or past life regression, whether it's because they're curious or whether they feel that they're ready, it doesn't matter. But I've had them often have a hard time going into hypnosis.
Mm-hmm.
And a hypnotist is really only a guide. They can artfully guide you into a relaxed state from beta into alpha and then into theta. But no one can overpower the will of an individual person. And if that person is not ready, willing, and able to do it, then it won't happen. And so there's that, and that's okay. And it could be because they can't relax enough. It could be that they have the beta part of their brain pattern that is in hyper beta all the time, always analyzing, always looking for trouble, always trying to problem solve, and that they're having a really hard time letting go of that. They probably have a sleeping problem too, of getting to sleep. And so that could be what's happening. So it's not really one pat thing. The energies are always working in your favor. Now, on the other side of that is if you had hypnosis, we'll talk about you. If you had hypnosis and you went there for a certain intention, and everybody goes for a certain intention, it could be that the answer to the intention that you were seeking was not addressed, whether it's that it didn't come to you yet, or maybe the hypnotist didn't really have the information for you. Or it could be that the answer the answer sometimes in hypnosis, not sometimes but all the time in hypnosis, is kind of in code. I'm going to call it in code. When you have a dream and all of our dreams seem to be a little bit sci-fi, even if we recognize the characters or we
Yep.
recognize the places, hypnosis is like that. And the reason it's like that is because that's the way the realms uh, informs us. It informs us in a way that it's going to be out of the familiar. So it's not like anything in this plane. It's going to be something completely different. And it usually, sometimes you'll have a nightmare only because it wants to get your attention on something that you need to address. Um, it communicates to you in a way that seems like it's in code, and it's your job to break the code. And so um, that's always happening. That could be part of it. Another part of it that I'm kind of sensing at the moment, whenever,
Mm.
um, I'm just going to say it. Um, I I wonder if you needed comfort first, that you needed to be comforted and acknowledged to a certain level
Got it.
before um, before you opened the doors of information. It just I kind of just sense that. I don't know why, but just throwing that out there. That if you do it again, you should come to me.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah,
I get it. No, but seriously, are some people not ready or letting themselves be allowed? Sometimes they're a little coerced in a sense, but like you said, you have to be willing and sign up for, like with my mom years ago, she did hypnosis for smoking. It didn't work. Well, why didn't it work? Because she didn't want to do it. We all forced her
right.
to do it. And that was the reasoning behind it. And she admitted, I really didn't want to do it. I was doing it for you guys. Well, didn't the person tell you it's not going to work that way? She's like, well, I lied because I thought, if that's what everyone wanted me to do, that's what I should do. But I know really deep down I didn't want to do that. So,
Right. Exactly. And it's really only about you. I mean, it's hypnosis and Reiki and all of that are
yeah.
really about the energies of you with a higher energy. There's no one involved in it. And so it's a little bit tricky to get people um,
Yep.
to that open place. So I do believe in the techniques. I do believe in the energies. I do believe that there's higher powers and we have access. I read something really interesting this week because I always read a lot of deep stuff that said we are not meant to do this alone. And they're not talking about us with other people. They're
Hmm.
talking about us with a higher power
Okay.
and access to help and an access to support and to for it's in my opinion, it's our job to learn, use and understand and embrace the universal laws and not try to make the man plan. I call it the man plan, like human, not man as in male. Not make the man plan the bottom line rules because it isn't. That's why everyone's so miserable.
So true, right?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
I believe in it. I know people who it's worked for, and you clearly wouldn't be doing what you're doing if it was failing people. So really, I commend you on your work. And what else, for today do you want to share?
I just want to try to make it a little bit more accessible to people and answer any kind of questions that people might have of what it's like. It's not manipulative. Like sometimes you'll be working in the auric field, like 4 to 6 inches above the body, and sometimes you'll have your hands on their body, but you're not pushing or pulling anything. It's not manipulative. It's just resting your hands on certain body parts to draw the energy into that specific part. And sometimes when I do Reiki, like today I did Reiki, on Thursday morning, I do Reiki all morning. And so, or hypnosis or counseling or whatever. And so I was working on this woman today and I did some color therapy with her today. And so all of the chakras in your body have different colors, which I can explain at another time. Um, and so I had my hands around her ankles for the
Aw.
entire time and sending her the energy while she was getting Reiki. And even though I was just sitting there, seemingly, um, I could see her body moving. Her body was moving at different parts. I could feel the energies moving in her ankles. Eventually, it got down to her ankles. Um, but I
Wow.
thought it was just so interesting how um, it just really knows where to go. It just needs permission and an access point, but it knows where to go and it'll just go wherever it's needed to realign you back into health. There is help available. You don't have to do it by yourself.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for that. And, during your time here, again, helping so many, there's also the past life regression aspect, which I know we always just touch upon a little bit because it's good to go there as well. And there are certain things that you say that are genealogy related, genetically related, that are kind of stuck in our past, right? From our past ancestors. Am I saying it correctly?
Yes.
And, they may need that type of service and that type of help. And, it's kind of like, oh my goodness, you got to go into the same type of deep state, right? To go back there. And do you actually witness like what's happening? Or do you see it? Does the person come out to you and say, hey, we're seeing this, we're feeling this from how does, I just never done the past life regression thing. I'm just curious, how does that work?
All of the above, yes.
Okay.
So with past life regression, um, I communicate with them while they're going in, and when they're in there, I'm communicating with them and asking them what are they witnessing. Like some with a past life regression, sometimes I will ask them where they are or what's the demeanor that they're experiencing. So I'll get the information from them, but I also, because I have this like sense about things, I also can sense where to go. And the most important thing for a hypnotist of any kind, but especially doing past life regression, you don't want to manipulate them.
Okay.
I have witnessed a hypnotist once that was manipulating a client, and like kind of guiding them into certain kind of answers. That's not a good thing. I never try to do that. I always try to keep it open and just kind of
Mm-hmm.
follow the lead that the energies are offering to them. And so you will, in your past life regression, it'll take you to the perfect place that you were needing the information from. So if you believe in past life regressions and you believe in past life, and there's a million scenes in a lot of lives, why is one specific scene chosen when you have that past life regression? Because it has information in it that will help you in this moment, in
So
this
true.
lifetime, in the best way. And so sometimes in past life regression, you will talk about the ancestors or past experiences. You'll recognize someone in your scene's eyes, for
Mhm.
example, or maybe the way they move, but usually it's the eyes. And you'll say, where have you seen those eyes before? And they'll say, yes. And then you'll ask them, and
Ah,
it could be their partner is in the scene with them, and they're married or something in their past life. And then they'll
love
look
it.
at the eyes, and then I'll say, whose eyes are they? And they'll say, they're my mother's in this lifetime. And so we're often reincarnated in clusters, sort of as a support team, and that support can be positive or negative to bring out whatever it is that you need to be addressing at this point in your life. And so that's very, very interesting, I think. Um, the other thing is they are a, a good past life regression hypnotist and client that does the work and is capable of doing the work. There will
Mm-hmm.
be emotion involved in it because change does not happen without emotion, and you can't fake it. You can't fake an emotion, and so you'll usually see people having an epiphany while they're in a past life regression or leaving something behind that they've been carrying and can leave it there. So there are a lot of different ways that it can help a person, even if a person is really, really curious, just curious about other lifetimes. It's very empowering and interesting. And also, I think most of all, empowering because there's so much more than just this 3D dimension that we're living in, our personal problems. So much
Got
more.
it. Got it. All right. Thank you. And we still have just a few more minutes left in the show. Just want to make sure we're covering everything for your listeners today about our topics. Did we miss anything? Space self client. We just digress all the time.
It's okay. I think that these are all really wonderful things. And if you're not quite ready to come in and have a session, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
a Reiki or a past life regression or hypnosis at all, you can also check out those Winter's self hypnosis series. They address 7 different conditions that are usually found in everyone's life or family. And you can do them in the privacy of your own home, around your own life. And if you just need to start there, that's a great place to start too. And you'll always have access to that anytime you feel you need it.
Thank you. All right. We appreciate it. And in order to help ourselves, a lot of us may opt to go with the hypnosis series, which again, this is the winter's self-hypnosis series. I know we mentioned it off the top, but really, you mentioned in your notes here that there's how many of them do you have now?
There's 7. There are 7 of them.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they're
Wow.
great.
Now, do people like need all 7, or how do you choose the ones, right? Because there's like they're for different things. One's like for stress, what are they for specifically?
Well, one of them, most people use a few of them.
Okay.
Um, like everybody needs a stress release. Everyone needs a stress release.
Yep.
And in my opinion, everyone needs sobriety support also, because we are all addicted to something. If you're having a repeated thought over and over and over that you're obsessed about, that's an obsession, and that is an addiction. And so those are really good for everyone because they also are very much just about remembering the magnificent love being that you are. And most of the problems are evolved and amplified because you forgot. And so that's a really good one too. And there's
Interesting.
cigarette control, and not everybody smokes cigarettes. However, there is that one. There's pain management. There are people that are addicted to drugs for pain and feel like they have exhausted all the possibilities for that. You can use the pain management to help manage your own pain. I'm not necessarily saying get rid of the drugs, but if you want to do that, it is an alternative. Or you can use it to complement it so that you feel like you have extra help and that you have another option to add to your life. There's also body balancing. Body balancing is not a weight loss, because I don't think that people's number necessarily is the problem. I think that people have more of a negative judgmental relationship with their body. And if you change your relationship with your body will change. And so it's a very loving, self-supporting CD, and that's or a recording. And that's a really great one. There is also anger alignment. And anger alignment is really important because I used to have a partner that was a rageaholic, nice person when he wasn't doing that.
Yeah.
And I looked for help, and there was no help unless you have such an issue with anger that you've done something bad, and then the big guns come in. So I decided to do some research, and I studied all about that, and then I created the anger alignment recording. It's not that anger is bad; it's learning about when it's appropriate and how to communicate it. And so that really seems to help people, and everybody could use that. So it depends. Some people use some of them, some people use all of them. I have some friends who are therapists, and they have them in their arsenal.
I like the arsenal. When they need it, pull it out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Lynn Winters again. Keuka Energy Arts. It's spelled Keuka. EnergyArts.com. Reach out to her there. Do you want to share any other form of contact before we go?
Nope. It just reached me out there. And if you need to communicate with me in person, then you can also connect with me on KeukaEnergyArts.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day, Lynn, and we'll connect again soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.